Hello and welcome to Petal and Ash. My name is Glithy, and I'm going to be kind of the person here as we go through this channel. So, what I wanted to do here was make kind of an intro video and show off my bullet journal for the purpose of what I want to do with this channel. So, uh, I'm making this channel as a kind of guide to into Japanese from N4. So right now I'm on the cusp of N3. I've studied it for a little bit, but uh, not enough to, I think, really pass the test because I didn't. So there's that. But this is the bullet journal I'm going to use to help me kind of keep myself in order. Of course, I have other notebooks and things like that, but I wanted to show this off for this intro video. Now, this video is mostly for me so that I can look back on it in a couple of months and a year to see how my goal is going. But I thought that I would leave this all kind of open and free for anyone that wants to follow along and for anyone else who's in the same place as me, trying to get from N4 to N2 or maybe even beyond to N1. So, first, let's talk about the journal here. So, this is the Notebook Therapy Lunar Bloom Journal. So, it's a very nice journal, and I thought that I would open it more and keep it up if it was pretty. So, inside, we have like lots of nice things. There's my little glithy Liesty name. There's some stuff about the moon, particularly the lunar phases and the lunar calendar, and then some moon manifestation pages, which I haven't filled out yet since it's not the new year when I recorded this. So we'll flip past those pages to the first actual bullet journal page, and that is this one, which is my year at a glance. Mostly what's marked on here are things like holidays and birthdays, just to keep track of. Then on the next page here is the setup for the month of January. So I do things like daily gratitude. I mark off the days of the month, as well as some other small things to keep in mind. The main page that I want to look at is still not up yet. Next is my habit tracker, and then my rewind of the month kind of page. So I do a full kind of bullet journal thing. So this is the page I want to keep it on for a bit while I talk, and that is my Japanese page. So here you can see the study log page, as well as some other things like new kanji, vocab mining, listening, as well as my goals, which I will go through one by one as I talk on this video. So on the study log page, the things I want to keep track of especially are adding new kanji, getting new vocabulary, and working on my abysmal listening. I can hear simple things quite well, but I do pretty poorly when it comes to listening to like longer things. And so those are the main three things I want to track this month as I get into serious studying again. So then let's take a look at the goals. So here I have various books and things. I'm not sure how clear it is to see, so I'm going to go through them one by one and explain. So first is Grammar Buddy. This will be the N3 book. I'm probably going to use this one as my main book, if not my main book, my secondary book. And my goal is to get through about 4 chapters. This book does about 88 grammar points, and in this, each chapter has about, I think, 6 grammar points or so, or less actually, and it's just a review of N3 grammar, which is one of my a little bit weak points. And then after that is the kanji book I'm going to focus on, which is by the same publisher. I think all my books are by the same publisher, just about, which is the Japan Times. The kanji book, my brain, I forgot the name of it, is the Kanji 350 N3 Hajimete no Nihon book. This focused purely on the N3 kanji, and I wanted to make sure that I know them all well as some combinations that might be there for N3 specifically. Then my other area that is abysmal is reading. And so for reading especially, I got to pull this book too because I will not be able to say the full name by memory. is that I can read short things, but I can't read long things. And if you're in this area as well, you know that that's a big thing. So I'm going to do a strict focus with step by step training in reading Japanese, the pre intermediate. This book has two sections or two books. The first one is for N4, but I want to focus on N3. And so I'm going to use that book as well. And then the final book, which I think needs no introduction, I think most people who study Japanese have at least heard about it, which is the quartet books. I didn't do the quartet books. I actually did Tobira, but I did it ages ago, um, like 10 years ago. So I don't know if I remember anything. So I heard that quartet is a little bit of an easier hurdle. Tobira, I burned out on actually. So there might be a few things I don't know, but the first part of quartet I should know pretty well. So I put quartet 1 review because I feel like I know most of the N3 stuff and I'm just trying to review it and, for lack of a better term, get good. Um, so these are kind of the focus areas that I have. So then you can see on this page, there's also the review area so that I can go back and review the things that I've done to check to see if I need to change anything. I anticipate that my trouble area might be what I think, which is just right reading and listening, and then filling in the grammar gaps that I still have. If I'm wrong, then maybe in February I'll switch to quartet focus. Um, there are some other things that I've been using to help that are not listed in here. So you might remember back I said vocabulary mining. I'm actually using Migaku for that, which, regardless of how you feel about it, I know many people have heard of Migaku because they advertise probably too much. and then I also use, oh, I'm sorry, my brain just died. Um, I also use, of course, things like Netflix and things like that for listening. I have some other books like Read Real Nihongo that I can use for reading long phrases. Most of my stuff is located at N3 level. The last thing I'm going to use for this is, I'm going to hope I say it right, Tokini Andy. He does a quartet video series. If you're lower than me, he also does a Genki video series. And I've used the Genki a little bit as a review to remind myself of things. So I wanted to use him again to see if this would be a good match. So those are all the basics of the things I wanted to use. This is kind of the big page I wanted to keep you guys in on to look at. As you can see, hopefully uh, some of this will be easy, some of this will be difficult. The goals here are a little bit fluid. So I think for Grammar Buddy, I have 4 chapters, like I said. The kanji book, I have 2 chapters because it's like 48 kanji a chapter, which is quite a bit. Step by step, I put all of the chapters I hadn't done because I wasn't thinking, but technically it's only 10 minutes a day, so I can probably get through most of the chapters through the month. And then, of course, quartet. If it doesn't kick my butt, I will do 2 chapters. If it does kick my butt, I will do 1 chapter. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for my goals. Then I wanted to show off the other page. It's not very detailed or big or anything, but whoops, guess I have to hold out. I have my kanji compounds page for anything that's very interesting or I want to keep track of. And then I have a reading and video page where I want to keep track of the things that I'm looking at. This is going to be like what YouTube videos I'm watching again and again, maybe some Netflix shows, the regional Nihongo essays that I might be looking at. I wanted to kind of keep a running thing to know where I'm at and what I'm doing. So that's all of the pages in my bullet journal that I wanted to show off. Of course, there are other pages, but those would be personal. So we're not going to show those off. Um, Now, to explain a little bit more, because I think we're at 10 minutes, uh, for the channel itself, I want to do a couple of different types of videos. Um, I want to do especially uh, videos about my journey here. So don't expect too many, like, here's how you say this in Japanese. Um, I'm not confident enough to tell you that. I'll be perfectly honest. And so through the journey, one of the things that you might encounter on this video series is mistakes. Um, and I hope that in that you are kind about it. Remember, I'm a learner, not a teacher. And in that, I probably won't do too many kind of things like that. But I want to do things like study with me's. I might do a read along where I try to read something out and come back later and reread it to see how I've improved. Um, I will do maybe some deep dives on the materials that I use and how I feel about them. Um, I have a lot of books. I don't know if that's a good thing, but I'm going to stick with those main four that I talked about because I do feel like they're the most useful. Uh, Another thing I want to note about this channel is that the types of videos I make could change. Um, like I said, I want to do study with me, maybe some product deep dives, and oh, I forgot, and an accountability video that will happen at the end of the month, which will talk about what worked and what didn't, and anything that I want to change going forward. So those are like the big areas. Uh, and then, of course, I'm open to suggestion for different video types. Uh, I might do some stuff about Japan itself, but I will admit I'm a little bit uncomfortable talking too much about Japan, even though I live in Japan. So, this is going to be my journey in Japanese. I hope that I succeed. The goal here is to get comfortable at N3 by July or August, and then spend the rest of my focus on N2. I'm hoping to pass into in 2027. Um, that's the goal, at least. Is there anything that I'm missing? I covered all of my Japanese sources for you guys that I'm going to focus on for N3. So I think that's it for this first video. Once again, this is just kind of a channel intro. I'm going to try to keep all my videos kind of conversational just because, like I said, this is mostly for me. Um, but I hope you guys follow along. So thanks for watching. Feel free to put down your Japanese goals in the comments if you have anything similar, or if you also are stuck at the intermediate plateau, as they call it. But that's all for me for this intro video, so hope to see you in the next one.